When there is a dent in the structure of the personality, which is what we are calling spiritual awakening, it is difficult to adjust with people in society because mind, having glimpsed reality, the reality of its non-existence, is convinced now that everything that comes with a promise has an opposite. So any object of desire that comes up in the mind, it can be anything, a relationship or an idea of having a lot of wealth, material accumulations like property, cars, or even spiritual knowledge. Anything that comes with a promise comes attached with the opposite. Let's take relationship for example. Every relationship comes with pleasure and pain. And what is seen is that most of our interactions are more painful than they are pleasant. So after awakening, when the personality is not all that strong, it becomes difficult for this confused mind to get along with people or believe in society's blueprint. For example, I was told that, once you get educated, once you pass high school, it's a big milestone and you will experience happiness. So I did. But then I was given a new challenge where I was told once you do the senior secondary, then it will be better. That happened too. Then I was given further challenge that if you go to college and get a degree, then your life will be set. So you see, the promise keeps changing. The blueprint that the society gives us, the blueprint for peace and happiness, that's never constant. Do get educated, start a family, buy a home, property, cars, get material assets, have a lot of bank balance, then you will be happy. And I kept asking, but what after that? Is the mind really quiet after we get all these things? Or do we just keep continually chasing happiness till the end of our lives? For me, working in a corporate job, it was apparent. What I was told was that, you will get happiness after you have worked all your life, and finally, when you are retired, you get to live in complete freedom. Now I go to the people who are aged and I ask them, are you really liberated? Are you really free? And they tell me that not really, because now they have to deal with health challenges. And also, since the society, the families are so interwoven, there is always some drama happening somewhere, some fire here, some fire there, and these elderlies are looked upon for advice. So they would imagine that their old age would be happy and peaceful, yet they're constantly surrounded by people who are making a lot of noise, interrupting their life. So peace is not really there even after retirement. Now, this is just the material side. Let's come to the spiritual side as well. Even in the spiritual circles, it is discussed that once you accumulate more knowledge, you read all the scriptures, learn everything, then you will be something. Now, that something also comes with the opposite. For example, you can learn all the scripture and, let's say, become a priest or the knowledgeable one. But then, society, people will be after you, seeking answers. They will have expectations from you, and you will have to uphold that image. So you will have to be very careful with your wordings, because you don't know who you offend. So even that can be a trap. That is why it is said that even knowledge is a thorn. Ignorance is a thorn for sure. So you use the thorn of knowledge to take out the thorn of ignorance. But the knowledge is also a thorn that needs to be discarded. It is really hard for us to adjust with people when some spiritual understanding has happened, because we are no more the same person. You find yourself living life slow. You like to speak slowly. You like to spend time by yourself. You enjoy your own company. You don't want to be surrounded by people who are constantly giving advices as to how to navigate this world, what one should do, what one should not do. Yet you are constantly surrounded by them. So sometimes there is a reaction, and the reaction is, why don't you let me just be? And you're not even given the privilege of just being by people, because people want to see you doing something. They think that by doing you are productive, you're contributing to the world, because it's their assumption that just by being you are not contributing anything to this world. Which I do not agree with personally, because I think all our doing is just ruining this planet. The best thing that you do is breathe, because that is in sync with nature. That is your real contribution. Other than that, whatever you're doing, whatever company you're working on, whatever company you're working with, is actually polluting the world. It is going against nature. There's nothing right or wrong about this. The whole concept, the whole point is that after awakening, the mind-body organism likes to live slow and peaceful life, and not a life lived in haste. Whereas you are surrounded by people with whom you earlier lived a hasty life. So they would tell you, come, let's go out for a drink, or let's go out for an outing. But all you want to do is maybe just sit, relax, and read a book. Or maybe even not do that. You may just want to sit in silence and just be, which is the most valuable thing for you, whereas it is completely useless for the world. Because they think that by being, you aren't contributing anything. Somebody asked Ramana Maharishi that there is so much going on in this world, and you're sitting here doing meditation. In other words, doing nothing. And Maharishi said that it is your assumption that I am doing nothing. So, the sense of separation, the separate self or me, thinks that by doing it is contributing a lot to the world peace. But the thing is that all our actions, all our movements are creating more and more unrest. Just being with oneself as we are can make one peaceful. And if you are peaceful, you are least nuisance to the world. And that is your contribution to the world. Rather than coming up with an illusory goal to do good, human beings are not good. Trying to be good is futile. Because it is seen that all doing comes attached to the opposite. So you try to do good somewhere, there will be something bad happening somewhere else. Does it mean that we become passive? Not at all. The body is not designed in that way. The mind is not designed in that way. You cannot be passive for long. You will have to do something. The body will have to act. The mind will have to think. Something will always happen. But that happening is a part of the creative mind, not the thinking mind. Thinking mind is obsessed with an outcome, which is dominant before awakening. But conceptually speaking, after awakening, there is no thinking mind. It is only the working mind. Many people leave dense residential areas after awakening, and sometimes we hear that they settle in quiet places because quietness and silence is a cherished attribute after awakening. But with the complete knowledge that they may not get quiet and silence all the time, that is also accepted. The investment in relationships is rather low because they understand that it is extremely impossible to please everyone that you are in relationship with. There will always be someone who will misunderstand and misconstrue your words and take offense and distance. So your investment in relationships is minimal. Sometimes it is perceived as arrogance and depression or lack of social skills, which are very cherished attributes in the modern world. Somehow, the modern world demands that people be socially apt. And they see that as an indicator of a person's well-being. So anybody who goes against the conventional norms is seen as abnormal or having some sort of a deficiency or needing treatment. However, there is no need to conform after awakening. There is no need to be good or nice to people after awakening. Because one lives the blueprint that is being laid out. That means one lives moment to moment rather than living in an imaginary future. One becomes present to now. Whereas the world, the society, hands blueprint that is based according to future, which they claim the future will give you happiness. You do all these things get educated, start family, earn money, go to spiritual gurus, seek enlightenment. It can be anything. Get a good car, surround yourself with a lot of friends. It can be anything. Whatever they are promising, it comes attached with unhappiness. There is a cost there, and it is understood after awakening that all these promises will not give the happiness that is being projected, because it is all future oriented. So people who do that do not align with the working mind that is dominant in the biological organism where awakening has happened, because biological organism is concerned only with creativity, not productivity. Productivity is something which comes on its own. We do not have any control over how productive we can be. All we can do is just be creative. The outcome is not in our control. With that knowledge, we just be. And in that being, whatever comes out spontaneously, writing, expressing oneself, or let's say even working somewhere, it is just the working mind in action and not the thinking mind that is concerned with outcome or that is buying a promise of a profitable future, a happy future. You see, there is no escape from the matrix. The matrix is not out there, the matrix is here. This is the matrix. So trying to escape the matrix is also a part of the matrix. There is no need to escape, but to understand who is trying to escape will bring peace. The one that is trying to escape is an illusion. So, one doesn't care about being good or nice. And at the same time, let me also say this, that one doesn't, I don't know what word to use here, but one doesn't even become offensive or rude. Even that is the other extreme. There is a natural compassion for those who are still seeking answers. It is not their fault. It is their destiny. There is a lot of compassion. So if one has to lower their vision, I can use the word intelligence too, but that may not come across well. So I will say vision. One has to lower their vision, but one doesn't have to conform after awakening. So we can, people who have this spiritual understanding can talk about different things, but they will not get involved in the worldly matters. They can talk about politics, although they abhor it, but they can talk if it is needed in a given moment. But they will never get involved in it. And in the end, they will say, yes, you are right. And that will be the end of discussion, because that's what the other wants, to be right. So happiness is found in just being oneself. The way this organism is, not trying to become something, not trying to achieve something, not trying to attain something. If a goal shows up, the goal is pursued. If it doesn't show up, then one simply lives a relaxed and peaceful life, enjoying moment to moment. But there is no need to conform to society's blueprint or societal's norm. Just be.